So moving on, we're going to proceed to our last panel discussion this morning. Corporate Venture 2.0, Driving Strategic Innovation and Industry Transformation. So our speakers are going to take us through how corporate VCs gain an edge in AI and tech ecosystem, align strategic priorities with venture growth, and collaborate with startups and traditional VCs to transform industry. And now, without any further ado, I would like to first invite our panel chair to come up on stage. Let's welcome Ms. Rebecca So, Head of Marketing, Hong Kong Cyberport. Let's give a warm welcome to Rebecca. And moving on, let's welcome our panelists, including Mr. Isaac Ng, Associate Head of Investment, MTR Lab. Welcome. And last but not least, let's welcome Professor Derek Chen, Senior Investment Director, China Resources Enterprise Limited, Chief Investment Officer, Hong Kong Tech Venture Investment Company Limited. Let's give them a warm applause. Welcome our panel chair and panelists. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to pass over the stage to Rebecca. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our panel, Corporate Venture 2.0. Driving Strategic Innovation and Industry Transformation, the last but not least panel of this morning. So stick around, we're going to lunch right after this. Okay, in this session, we are going to explore several things: how corporate venture are gaining an edge in the AI and tech ecosystem, how they are aligning strategic priorities with venture growth, and we're going to see how corporate venture are fostering collaboration with startup and even other VC to transform the industries. So today we are very thrilled to have two distinguished guests with us. To my left is Isaac, from the Associate Head of Investment from MTR Lab. And then next to Isaac, we have Derek, Senior Investment Director from China Resources Enterprise. So thank you both for joining us today. May I first invite you guys to give a brief introductions to yourself as well as the organization that you represent. Maybe Isaac, can you do the introduction first?
Sure. Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Cyberport, for inviting us to speak about corporate venture, a very important topic. Hi, everyone. I'm Isaac. I'm the Associate Head of Investment at MTR Lab. MTR Lab is the corporate venture arm of MTR. And we invest in things that are synergistic with MTR, our core business. So these are typically mobility, smart city, the built environment. We also look at climate. We have a global mandate, and we invest in startups in Hong Kong, of course, mainland China, rest of Asia, as well as Europe and US. We mostly target Series A and Series B companies. Yeah. That's kind of what we do. And we're a team of 6. And a little bit about myself, I actually was, in my previous life, I was a founder. I did 2 startups. One failed, one did a little bit better. And I also worked at a couple of different family offices and VCs before joining MTR.
Okay. Thank you, Isaac. Derek, please.
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. Happy to be here. So I'm Derek from China Resources. I do investment around our core business, for instance, property, logistics, and F&B, etc. So in recent years, we are more keen to support different startups in Hong Kong. So we work very closely with, of course, Cyberport, as well as other universities in Hong Kong. We are very keen on, for example, like RACE program, etc. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you both. Now, as a topic, it's all about corporate venture 2.0. First of all, I would like to ask Isaac, how is the role of corporate venture capital evolving? And what does corporate venture 2.0 means for the industry transformation?
Yeah, I think maybe the first thing to note about corporate venture is corporate venture as a word is actually, there's a lot of variety and nuance within corporate ventures. So for VCs or private equity funds in general, it's actually quite easy to understand. You have a manager, they get investors to invest. Typically, they pay a 2 and 20 sort of fee structure, and they agree on a mandate of these are the companies we will invest. This is how we'll invest, and the manager goes ahead and make investments, try to make the most return for the investors, and until the end of the fund. For corporate venture, it's not exactly like a VC that's funded by a corporate. So fundamentally, there's a strategic aspect to the corporate ventures that we need to take care of. Otherwise, corporates could just invest in a VC instead of setting up a corporate venture. So the first part is that, for different corporates, they have different strategic needs. Some of the industries, some of the largest corporate ventures in the world, for example, are in industries, for example, from oil and gas, where they need to transition the core business, where the core business is, they can see that in maybe next 50 years, there will be fundamental changes, and they need to diversify away from that. Some of the other corporates may be facing challenges or see opportunities in new businesses. For example, in MTR, we also want to invest in companies and startups that are adjacent to our core business, so that perhaps one day we can have some new revenue stream. Some of them are in industries where the supply chain or the competition in the supply chain to technology are changing so fast that they need to invest to secure the supply chain. And so different corporates have different sort of strategic needs, and that also leads to different type of corporate ventures. For corporate ventures, I think also some of them are more financially leaning. So they almost operate like a VC. Maybe they set up their own fund structure, and the goal with the management team, the incentives are aligned to generate the maximum return. Whereas maybe some corporate ventures, MTR Lab as an example, we're very strategically focused. Of course, we still need to make money for our parent company, and so far, thankfully, I think financially we've been doing okay. But really, our goal or the reason why we exist is to drive strategic return and strategic value to our parent company. And I think in today's world, technology is becoming such a big driver in both the economy, but also the transformation of different industries, that it's becoming more and more important for a lot of corporates to really have a dedicated team with full-time looking at new technologies, how new industries are forming, and their own core industry, how the core business, how is it being potentially disrupted, so that they can, well, first have optionality, invest ahead, but also inform the corporates so that they can plan their strategy accordingly.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. We can see how corporate venture is gaining its importance in the ecosystem. So now I would like to turn to Derek. So for China Resources Enterprise as a conglomerate, how does its strategy drive transformation, across sectors like real estate, healthcare, and AI? And could you also share some of the recent startup investment in these areas?
Sure. So when we talk about transformation, I think at CRE, we are an offshore flagship of our group, CR Group. So we position ourselves as an incubator for the group. So along the years, for example, you see some of the names like CR Land, CR Gas, CR Cement, CRB, etc. They are originally incubated from CRE. So I think our positioning as the incubator doesn't change all along the years. For example, nowadays, we still actively look for some solutions or technology that potentially can help our group companies or to make sure that they are being still competitive within the industries. So in terms of some of the examples, for example, in the logistics space, we adopt a lot of automation, AMR, a lot of technology there. And also we work closely with some of the 4PL platforms in terms of the route optimization, etc. This type of technology for the logistics sector. And for property, very often you see some service robot, petrol robots, etc. So I think these are very common nowadays in terms of new technology applied to the property or property management space. And for example, like coffee business, city super business is a little bit different. For example, they have to deal with a lot of spreadsheet or on a daily basis. So they are very keen to look for some, for example, data analytical tools or some what we call the AI models, for example, to help them to streamline their business or even to look for some new growth of potentials. So I think these are some technology that we hope to source from the market to help our group companies.
Actually, Derek, just a shout out. We invested in Well, a retail AI company, earlier this year. They have a booth out there. Amazing technology.
Now I would like to turn to Isaac. You know, as many startups, you know, even within the Cyberport community, they're very keen on, you know, exploring the cross-border opportunities. So can you tell us how can corporate VCs foster such cross-border innovations and help startups achieve global scale?
Yeah, sure. I think corporate VCs. First, I think a lot of the corporates, by nature, they are MNCs or multinationals. Our parent company, MTR, as an example, we operate, of course, our home market is Hong Kong, but we also operate in quite a few cities in mainland China. And we also operate in Australia, both Melbourne and Sydney. Up until earlier this year, we also had quite a large operations in Europe, and we still have an office in UK. And so I think within even within these corporates, there's actually ample opportunities for companies to, once you land and then you expand. And I think in this particular case, corporate ventures can actually play a pretty helpful role, because a lot of these, in these large groups, not necessarily all the business units speak to each other, but CVCs are often in a somewhat semi-independent, but also on a corporate level sort of organization that, by nature, because we need to drive strategic value, we need to be speaking to different business unit partners. And so there's a certain internal network that can be leveraged there. Of course, for MTR Lab, because we have a global mandate, we also co-invest with a lot of different partners, corporates, or VCs from all over the world. So we've actually done, I actually just did a inventory, and we've co-invested with railway companies from Singapore, from France, from China, from, I think, yeah, and quite a few other countries as well. And so there's a network there. We share similar problem statements. We share similar sort of mandates. And so when we source deals as well, we actually also have this network of other CVCs that we can source from around the world. And they, not only do they have these companies that fits our mandate, but they also oftentimes come with case studies, contracts that their parent company or the corporate that they're affiliated with have done with them, and we're able to access a lot of these learnings from them. And in turn, of course, we also provide the same for our portfolio companies, that we can connect them to our partners from around the world and help them expand. I think a good example is Sonic investment we made in it's the acoustics predictive maintenance AI company. So they use acoustics and microphones essentially and combine it with AI to help us maintain our tracks, to tell when things are about to break before they break. And they're headquartered in China, in Beijing, and since the investment, we've actually done quite a few introductions, and hopefully they're well on the way to becoming a very international company. And then on the other hand, and then of course I think there's also, besides corporates, MTR Lab, we also have partnership agreements with a lot of different innovation hubs around the world. For example, Hub 71 from Abu Dhabi, Crosby in Japan, and also TwoSpark, mainland China. That helps us source a lot more deals, but also help our portfolio companies when they want to expand to really reach into these, to get more resources from these innovation hubs to help them expand overseas.
Thank you. Good to know how CVC is presenting a lot of opportunities for the startup ecosystem as well. For Derek, as corporate venture capital would be pursuing strategic business objective on the one hand, and at the same time, they also need to find ways to maximize the financial returns. So could you share with us how corporate venture capitals can balance these two objectives in today's rapidly evolving AI and tech landscape?
It's a tough question. I echo with I said that the beauty of CVC is that we can provide the scene for the company, for the startups to roll out or to validate their ideas or prototype. so that we are maybe the first person to have the sense or have the visibility to see whether the idea makes sense or not, whether it's scalable or not, etc. So I would say, I remember in the last panel, the speaker mentioned that in Hong Kong, we kind of lack of patience capital to support the startup in the long run. So I will say CRE or MTR, I'm sure, is considered as we're willing to provide relatively more patient capital and long-term capital for the startups compared with a typical VC, because due to their structure, they have the horizon issue. So that's a beauty of our CVC. But in terms of, as you mentioned, the financial return, I think I have to reiterate that we are still looking for financial return. So we are still serious about investment. We still need to go through the investment committee, look at the IRR, look at the growth, etc. So I think it's quite similar to other typical investment organizations. But I think we will position ourselves as a strategic investor. That means we will work hand in hand with the startups. For example, some of the startups, we even do the company formation, IP filing, and even, for example, office setup, assembly line setup, etc. We will work hand in hand with them. So I think this is quite different from a financial investor. We do add a lot of value in terms of that and providing the scene to test. Say, for example, we invest in a couple of IVD companies, the healthcare devices company. So in the very, very first place, we have already engaged, for example, our CR medical colleagues from the sales team or from the scientific teams, so that they can give comments on whether such products is actually scalable or not in the mainland China market. Is it difficult to obtain the NMPA license, etc.? So I think these are quite valuable for the startups because they can validate their idea as well as get the real feedback from the actual users or potential customers in the future. And from investment angle, I think we also have the privilege to look at these deals earlier. So I continuously get the feedback from different BU. For example, they will tell me, oh, this young kid is hard to deal with, hard to work with. Or another way around, sometimes they, oh, he is very young, but they know very well about their industry. Their idea is really helpful. It's really innovative for our traditional business, say, for example, logistics. Maybe some solutions, be it maybe cost saving to drive efficiency, or even some of the technology may for example, enhance the customer experience. I think we work very closely with a Cyberport company, Radiance Tech. So they do AR, MR technology. So we adopt such technology to the Pacific Coffee business. So we observe some of the statistics showing that the customer engagement or the traffic is actually improved when some of the technology is rolled out in the market. So, so these are actually, I will say, visible and very good data point for us to evaluate the projects, for us to further to consider whether to investigate or to invest in this company or not.
Thank you, Derek. We only have less than a minute left. Can we take a very quick look at the upcoming trend? Maybe Isaac, can you tell us what you think would be the next big challenge or opportunities for corporate venture in Asia?
I think Asia is a very diverse market. So I think a challenge that's been here forever, if we talk about investing in Asia, is that there are different strategies, different go-to-markets, different needs in different parts of Asia. And really, you have to tackle, if you want to be all over Asia, you need to do all of them. Another big trend I think I see happening is, I only got 15 seconds left. Of course, AI is all the rage. And from the VC world, you see that VCs are going earlier and earlier because of how fast they're scaling their revenue and how small a team you can have to build a big company. And I think for corporate ventures, that type of risk reward and going in early, that speed of execution will be important for corporate ventures to stay competitive. And just final point, I just wanted to echo what Derek said is I think a lot of times other investors look at corporate VCs and think that, hey, you guys only want to do strategic stuff. Maybe you don't care too much about return, but as one really experienced corporate venture guy told me, there is nothing strategic at all about losing money. So we do care about that too.
We need to keep our job, right?
Derek, do you have any quick comments?
So quick comment, because due to our business span across different sectors, so we're quite open, for example, like, but we are more keen on, for example, like life science, robotics and AI. These are our medical devices, some sectors that we closely monitor.
Okay, thank you so much. We have to wrap up this session. Thank you, audience, as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, our speakers, for giving us your wonderful insights. So please continue to remain on stage, and let's take a look at our official photographer right in the center to commemorate this moment. Thank you so much for giving us wonderful insight on how corporate VCs gain an edge in AI and tech ecosystem. All right, thank you very much. Please proceed off stage. Shall we give them another round of applause? Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up our morning session. The networking lunch buffet is now ready at the foyer outside this hall to your right-hand side. So for our VIPs and speakers, please proceed to the 4th floor. And please be back here at 2 p.m. for our afternoon sessions, focusing on the exciting scaling and funding journeys of AI innovators. In addition, a parallel track will be running at the Training Theater, the AI and Web3 Demo Day, featuring 19 innovative startups showcasing cutting-edge AI and Web3 projects at the forefront of the industry. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy lunch and connect with fellow attendees, and don't forget to explore our innovative solution showcases out there. See you back here at 2 p.m.